Big game this Sunday. Can the Miami Dolphins right the ship? What is up, Finn fans? I got my guys from Onebar and Lupagus show, Minnesota Vikings YouTube channel on here to help us dive deep into this matchup. Miami Dolphins taking on the Minnesota Vikings home. Big pivotal game for the Dolphins. They're on a 2-game losing streak. Can they right the ship? But before we jump into that, I got to shout out today's sponsor, and that is Prize Picks. If you don't know about Prize Picks is a daily fantasy app where you go in and you make your entries on different players. So I'm going to essentially show you how it works on my phone live as I go. So you can see here they do baseball, they do basketball, they do NHL, they do NFL, soccer, PGA, all that good stuff. But, you know, being that we're NFL, we're going to go with football. And you can see here you could pick whether passing yards, rushing yards, or receiving yards, field goals made, kicking points, interceptions, punts, all that good stuff. And essentially you go through. Let's go with rushing yards, right? And we'll pick Dalvin Cook, being that he is playing against the Miami Dolphins. And let's go with Nick Chubb. You go to finalize your entry, and you come here, and you see their projection of projected rushing yards of 78.5, and you pick whether you think he'll get more or less. And you see the projection of Nick Chubb as 95.5 yards. You can pick more or less, and then you can also add your entry, how much you want, and there you go. You can also go back and you can pick quarterbacks, passing yards, like Carson Wentz, Justin Fields, Kirk Cousins, up to 5 selected here, and you can go in and you can see their projection. Carson Wentz, 227.5 yards. Justin Fields, 165.5 yards, and Kirk Cousins, 270.5. And you pick more or less, and you have a chance to win up 10 times your money. So if you use the promo code DDW, you get 100% of your additional deposit up to $100 matched. So you deposit $100, use the promo code DDW, you get $100 matched. So be sure to go check them out. Prize Picks, download the app, use the promo code DDW, get 100% of your deposit up to $100 matched, and go out there and have some fun because this app is amazing. Now, let's talk to Onebar and Lupagus. It's just going to be Lupagus, and we're going to pick their brains about essentially the Minnesota Vikings. I got my guy here, Minnesota Vikings YouTuber, covers the Vikings. Let them know before we jump into anything. Let them know about the channel, where they can find you, all that good stuff.
So Onebar and Lupagus show. Find us there on YouTube. Help subscribe. I don't know why you subscribe to Minnesota Vikings channel, but do it anyway. Give us some shit this week. Love to hear your comments, see what you guys think, and also find us on Twitter at Onebar Lupagus. Those are basically the 2 big ones.
So, Nick, you guys are 4-1 right now. How are you feeling about that 4-1 right now?
Well, I'm feeling good that we are 4-1 because the difference about the 4-1 this year, we had a lot of close games last year, but we were finding ways to lose those games. These wins, we're finding ways to win. And I'm glad we're 4-1. It's not a super confident 4-1. We're not dominating anybody. I mean, the first game against Green Bay, that was pretty much as dominating as we got. And even in that one, I mean, Christian Watson dropped a bomb. We had a 4th down stop and a goal line stop. So even then, it wasn't overly dominating. So, yeah, we're 4-1, happy to be there. But I wouldn't say confidence is super high right now.
Now, looking at the team, right, when I came on your channel and we got to chat it up, you were very low on the defense. What do you think is the biggest problem with the defense right now?
It's really there's a couple things. We can't stop the run. And, you know, the Bears kind of gave up on it early. They fell down 21-3, so they started throwing the ball. But every game other than that, I mean, teams have just run the ball with ease on us. Latavius Murray was on the Saints practice squad. He was getting $7 a pop in the second half of that Saints London game. So I don't know what it is. I mean, you got Harrison Phillips up there. You got Delvin Tomlinson. Somehow, the hell's his name? That's Scrubby signed up. Bullard. He made the team. I don't know how he did it. Then you got Kendricks and Jordan Hicks we brought in free agency. I mean, Hicks and and Kendricks aren't making tackles about 6 yards past the line of scrimmage. I don't get it. So that's number one. And in the back end is just this really soft coverage we're playing. We're playing like 10 yards off these receivers. That started in the Philly game. You know, we played Green Bay. We're a little tighter. I don't know what Ed Donatel's doing. I think he's overthinking this defense because it seems like it's way more complicated. Daniil Hunter's kind of been a no-show this year. He has 2 sacks. He's been dropped back into coverage, and the way they're using him is just, it's head scratching. And this defense on paper should be much better than it is.
Now, one of your strong points is definitely your offense. You guys got a ton of weapons over there. Who out of, you know, obviously you got Justin Jefferson. A lot of people are going to be looking at Justin Jefferson. Is Adam Thielen still kind of a sneaky weapon to have on the opposite side?
He is. It's weird because Cousins really hasn't been looking his way that much. And we saw it in camp. I mean, it was just Cousins and Jefferson. He was going to him almost every single time. So he does look to Adam Thielen inside the red zone. It seems like a little bit more often, or third down, you need that big reception. So, yeah, he's still a part. It just seems like his role is being decreased. And he's been banged up. He played, God, what was it? I think it was the London game. I think he had a bad leg there. Maybe it was even last week. We weren't sure if he was going to get pulled out or not. But we do have KJ Osborne. Don't forget about KJ Osborne. He's a damn good number 3 wide receiver. He had the game-winning touchdown catch against Detroit there late. So if you sleep on KJ Osborne, he may come back and bite you in the butt. Or the fin. I don't know.
Is there a weakness on that offense? Like, is there a little area that the Dolphins could take advantage of on that offense?
I really don't know, because the offensive line has been the Vikings' Achilles heel on offense for the last decade, but the whole line is playing great. We got Christian Darrisaw, looks like a rock star left tackle now. And the biggest surprise to me is Garrett Bradbury in the middle. You know, the Vikings didn't extend his 5th-year option. It looked like he was going to be out the door. We weren't even sure he was going to be starting this year. And the guy is actually playing very, very well. His PFF grade has risen every single week, where now I think it's in the 70s. Hell, I think he was like ranked 34 out of 32 centers last year, and he was a starter. So that's how bad he's been. So this O-line has been a big strength. But, yeah, I mean, obviously a weakness. I mean, you can get Kirk Cousins rattled, get him off his game, and he's still trying to figure out this new offense. So Kirk Cousins hasn't been the Kirk Cousins we saw last year so far through 5 games now.
Now, taking on the Dolphins, you know, we're a little banged up here. We're going to be rocking with our 3rd-string quarterback. Do you guys think that is going to be an advantage to you, or you're still down on your defense? It doesn't matter who our quarterback is.
It's not even that. It's this Vikings curse thing. Like, we've had this before. Last year was Cooper Rush. We play him at home and go, yeah, we're going to destroy Cooper Rush. Well, the Cowboys end up winning that game. I think I saw the stat today where the last 16 or maybe it was 18 games the Vikings played a first-time starter. They're 8-8 or 8-2 or something. So all Vikings fans are ready for it. We're ready to be crushed by this 3rd-string quarterback. Nobody thinks is going to do anything, because we've seen it before. So, yeah, on paper, it looks like a great advantage for the Vikings, but I don't think Skylar Thompson has to do that much. If you guys get your run game going, he can complete some passes. I mean, what you really got to do is dump it off to Tyreek Hill, let him do the rest. Jalen Waddle, same thing. So I don't think it's much of an advantage. Yeah, obviously Tua would be huge for the Dolphins, but I'm not looking past Skylar Thompson. We had a live last night, and a lot of people weren't saying very nice things about him, and they're like, yeah, you know, we're going to dominate. But I've seen it too many times where the Vikings don't take advantage of this inexperienced quarterback. And the lack of pressure that we've been getting may come back to bite them on Sunday.
With Xavier Howard saying he's going to play this game, does that give you guys a little hesitation on our defense, or do you still think it'll be a high-scoring game kind of?
No, I do think this is going to be a high-scoring game. Our defense can't stop anybody. You told us that your secondary is kind of weak, and with our passing attack, I think the Vikings should be able to put up some points. Delvin Cook has this weird stat in Florida where he just goes off when he's playing a Florida team in Florida, goes back to his college days. So I think he might have a big game too. So I think it's going to be back and forth. So I do expect it. And I love Xavier Howard, great player, but he is dinged up too, isn't he?
He's been dealing with something all year. That's why he hasn't looked like his normal self. You know, normally he's around the ball, he gets some turnovers, but he's been real off. Dealing with some injuries. So overall, looking at this game, you know, what's your thoughts? You don't have to give a score prediction, but what's your thoughts, your goods, your bads, and what are you thinking about?
Well, yeah, so it is definitely Skylar Thompson. He's playing for sure. I mean, that's what it sounded like. And then I've been seeing some stuff.
It seems like Teddy's going to be the backup.
It's not true. Okay. Yeah, I'm expecting a high-scoring back-and-forth game. I mean, Vikings traveling all the way down to Miami, I think that's a big, you know, you never know what's going to happen when you travel that far. AFC team, not really familiar with. What I don't like is I think your guys' attacking style, throwing, you know, Mike McDaniel's not afraid to air that thing out. You got Tyreek Hill, Jalen Waddle. That speed terrifies me when it comes to our secondary. If we can't stop the run, and make Skylar Thompson beat us, I think the Vikings will be in trouble. If we can, then I like our chances. But I expect a high-scoring game, and every game we've had, except for week 1 and week 2 when we got dominated by Philly, has come down to the wire, has been, settled within the last minute of the game. So I'm expecting another heart-pounding finale for the Vikings.
Well, as long as it's a game, because last week I had to deal with fourth quarter of just what is going on right now.
Yeah, we had that week too, because I know I have been there.
So as long as it's a game, I'll be good with that. But thank you so much for coming on, guys. Be sure to go check them out. I know they're Minnesota Vikings, but they have a ton of great content over there. Go over, subscribe, show some love, and thank you so much for stopping by, bud.
Appreciate it, man. Good luck.
Absolute blast having Lupagus on, essentially Nick on. Really enjoyed his time. He really gave us some deep dive. Go check him out. You don't have to just be Viking fans to, enjoy him. If you like what you see, hit that subscribe button. Go help them out. Definitely we'll have them on the channel again. So let's jump into this. Obviously, we're going to do injury reports, matchups, 5 things, and I'm going to give you guys my essentially breakdown and who I think is going to win the game. So let's jump into this injury report. I'm going to pop it up, and Jesus, it's covering my face. It's a long one. Tron Armstead, Elijah Campbell did not participate. For me, again, I'm recording this on Thursday. You were seeing it Friday morning. Everyone else was limited, from Teddy Bridgewater, Eric Uzukoma, Clayton Fedulum, Xavier Howard, Robert Jones, Kader Kohu, Raheem Mostert, Zach Sealer, Durham Smythe, and Tua Tagovailoa. Full practice: Tanner Connor, Tyreek Hill, Brandon Jones, Greg Little, and Jalen Waddle, Melvin Ingram, and Emmanuel Ogbah. Full, not even essentially on the injury report. It's going to be Skylar Thompson's show. Teddy Bridgewater shouldn't even be in concussion protocol. It is so dumb. But he also, now it's like a right pectoral thing. So dumb that he's even on concussion protocol. I'm not even going to get into that because it's just dumb in itself. But Xavier Howard should be back. Teron Armstead, I'm hoping he'll be back. Austin Jackson, you don't see on here. He has been practicing. So I think probably while you're watching this, we'll get some news if he comes off off of IR. This is the week he's eligible to come off of IR. So to have him back, hopefully we get Teron Armstead back. We have Xavier Howard. He said he will play. Tyreek Hill, Jalen Waddle, they're fine. They will play. They will full participants. Tua Tagovailoa, just starting. Fully expect him back. But it's very good to see people starting to get healthy. Again, our bye week isn't for 4 or 5 more weeks. So we got a little bit, but we're starting to get there. We're starting to get back and healthy. I'm going to pop up the Minnesota Vikings as tiny. Must be nice, Minnesota. Must be nice. They only did not to participate was Wanum. I think that's how you say his name. Their outside linebacker. And then Madison, their running back, was limited. Other than that, they had a full practice. Must be nice, Minnesota. Now we're going to go into our breakdowns. I'm going to break down the Finns offense versus the Vikings defense, and then flip it in the Vikings offense versus the Finns defense. So the Miami Dolphins offense, points scored, they are 12th ranked in the NFL. The Vikings defense is 14th ranked in the NFL, points scored on. The yardage, the Miami Dolphins are ranked 16th. The Minnesota Vikings 24th. So they've given up a lot of yardage on defense. Their pass defense is 22nd ranked. The Vikings, the Dolphins pass offense is 5th ranked. There's your advantage there to the Dolphins. So yards and the passing is advantage Dolphins. Rushing offense, the Dolphins are ranked 30th, but we saw last week with Raheem Mostert starting to get into that groove. He had over 110 rushing yards. The Minnesota Vikings rush defense is 20th ranked, so it is down there. The Dolphins really should take advantage of that. Then when it comes down to third down conversions, the Dolphins are ranked 12th, converting 40.7% of their third downs, whereas the Vikings defense is 13th. That's actually pretty good. Only allowing 36.2% of their downs to be converted. And when it comes to the red zone, the Dolphins are 6th, converting 66.7% of their red zone trips into touchdowns, and the Minnesota Vikings are 29th, allowing 76.9% of red zone trips being converted to touchdowns. So when it comes to our offense versus their defense, we have the advantage in yards, passing, and red zone trips. And points points scored. So we got to take advantage of that. And then you flip it. The Vikings offense, when it comes to points scored, 12th ranked. The Dolphins 29th ranked. And that Jet game did not help. Neither did that Ravens game. A lot of points scored in those two games. Yards, the Minnesota Vikings 10th ranked. The Dolphins 25th ranked. Again, that Bills game didn't help that one. We gave up a lot of yards, but not a lot of points. Passing offense, the Vikings are 8th ranked. The Miami Dolphins passing defense is 28th ranked. Hopefully, with Xavier Howard coming back, that will help. And rushing offense, the Vikings are 21st ranked, which is surprising with Cooks. And the rushing defense of the Miami Dolphins is 13th ranked, even though they did give up 90-something yards to Breece Hall. And then third down conversions, the Vikings are 7th, converting 42.9% of their third downs, whereas the Dolphins are 30th, allowing 49.2% of the third downs converted. Dolphins need to learn how to get off the field on third downs. A lot of that has to do with penalties and blown coverages. And then the red zone, the Vikings are 16th ranked, converting 57.9% of their red zone trips into touchdowns, whereas the Miami Dolphins are 27th, allowing 70.6% of trips to be touchdowns. Got to tighten that up. So essentially, it's it's offensive game. Besides the Dolphins' run defense being 13th ranked, our offense is better than their defense. Their offense is better than our defense. Who's going to stop? It's essentially going to be who's going to get the first stop. I said last year against the Saints, if whoever scores the first points on defense is going to win that game. We had a pick six. I was like, we're going to win this game. Kind of the same thing there. Now let's get into the 5 things the Miami Dolphins have to do if they want to beat this Minnesota Vikings team. I have a lot more than 5, so I'll talk more about that when I go into my prediction and what I think about the game. But let's jump into this. The number 1 thing, and again, this isn't from most important, least important. It's just 5 things I noticed. Got to contain Justin Jefferson. Justin Jefferson is one of the top best wide receivers in all of the NFL, not just the NFC. He's Kirk Cousins' favorite target. So we need to contain him. We need to make Kirk Cousins go to his second reads. Hopefully that gives the defensive front enough time to get on him, get pressure, get some sacks. We need to consistently do that. So we're not going to stop Justin Jefferson, but having Xavier Howard back, hopefully he's at 80%. The fact that he, was held out against the Jets, had enough time, had about 2 Sundays to get ready, get that groin or his quads or whatever healthy. He needs to be at a top notch. We need the best of Xavier Howard to contain Justin Jefferson. Again, we're not going to stop him. He ain't Devontae Parker or like how X stopped him week 1, but we need to contain him. The number 2 thing the Miami Dolphins need to do if they want to beat the Vikings, we have to stop the run. Cooks is a very good running back. Breece Hall ran all over this defense, even though they are 13th ranked in rush. He ran all over us, opened up the play action, made our day harder, longer. Pause on that. We need to stop the run. Stop the run, force him to become a one-dimensional offense, force Kirk Cousins to throw the ball, get in his face. We got to stop the run. It was very un-Dolphin-like last week. Like I said, we're 13th ranked. We were doing very well at stopping the run. All of a sudden, Breece Hall was running all over us. Number 3 thing, we have to run the ball. If we're going to stop the run fundamental, run the ball. Raheem Mostert had over 110 rushing yards. I said that many times, but I'm very happy about it. Got to do that again. If you run the ball, then it makes Skylar Thompson's job a little bit easier. It keeps Justin Jefferson, Cooks, Adam Thielen, Kirk Cousins on the sideline. It has you control the game. It has you control the clock. Dictate how everything goes. Run the ball. That's something that they kind of went away from even when the Dolphins were only down by 2 points at 19-17. They stopped kind of running the ball. They tried to force throwing it. They had this rookie out there making some passes. You got to run the ball. Run the ball. Do it consistently. And just keep running the ball, especially if Austin Jackson and Teron Armstead are going to be back. Should be able to run the ball, especially against this defense, which is ranked 20th in run stopping. So that's number 3. The number 4 thing on this list, constant pressure. We haven't been getting that. Yeah, we're ranked kind of low in getting sacks. Higher than some that I thought would be higher than us, like the Raiders and the Bengals. But we need to get more sacks. We need to get more pressure on the quarterback, especially a quarterback like Kirk Cousins. He isn't Josh Allen. He isn't Lamar Jackson. Even Zach Wilson has some legs on him. He's not going to be able to run that much. He's a pocket passer. This is the perfect time to pin your ears back, get after that quarterback, and they need to do it. Now, am I saying he can't scramble for a first down? No. Obviously, we've seen Tom Brady do it. He can do it, but this isn't the type of quarterback where you need to worry about that. That's not his number one thing. That is with Lamar and that is with Josh Allen. Their first thing is we're going to take off running. Got to get pressure on him. Consistent pressure, make him uncomfortable, make him throw stupid interceptions, stupid plays, constant pressure. And the last and final thing the Miami Dolphins have to do if they want to beat this Minnesota Viking team is smart football. And you might be asking yourself, duh, every team should play smart football. Yes, but the Dolphins, especially last week, didn't play smart football. Too many dumb penalties, especially face mask penalties, put the Jets in either field goal or scoring position. I'm not going to harp, again, people like to say I make excuses. These aren't excuses. These are facts. We beat ourselves last Sunday, not only with the injuries, but the penalties and the interception and the fumbles and the missed field goals. Kind of beat ourselves, kind of kicked ourselves in the butt. And the Jets took advantage of it, full advantage of it, and they deserved the win because they took advantage of us beating ourselves. Can't do it again. You got to play smart football. Stop with the penalties. Stop with the turnovers, especially the roughing the passers, the face masks, the holdings, all that stuff. Play smarter football and pull it out of your butt. That being said, here is my prediction on this game. Mike McDaniel, a good head coach. You could tell if you got yourself a good head coach by seeing what they do when they face adversity. Mike McDaniel's facing adversity right now, not only from his quarterback situation, not only from the amount of injuries he's dealing with, but he's on a 2-game losing skid. The ship is he needs to right that ship. It's kind of swaying one way. He's got to right it. This is a game that you need to win. This is a game you need to right. This is a game that you can show that you can handle this adversity. You can change it up. And you could show people you're a pretty good coach. Got to win this game. They got to stop making stupid mistakes. We got to see Skylar Thompson stop getting so frazzled in the pocket, especially when there's no pressure on him, when he has time in the pocket. Read your guys. Be accurate. If somebody's open, you know you can make it. You did it in preseason. That's the biggest thing I said to people when it came to Skylar Thompson. Everyone's like, look at what he's doing. You see what he's doing? Preseason doesn't mean anything. So in preseason, Skylar can just sling that rock. He throws an interception. It's preseason. Who cares? They lose the game. It's preseason. Who cares? Now, all of a sudden, it's a different world, and you can see he knows it's a different world. So when there was one play where on third down, he started scrambling, and then he kind of fell backwards, and I think he threw a pass to Waddle for a conversion. He had like 2 guys open downfield that he could have definitely fit the ball to, but he's too much in here. And he starts getting scattered, especially when he has pocket. Just plant your feet, read the guy, get the ball to him. Play smart football. Run the ball. You can beat this Minnesota Vikings team. They're not unbeatable. Yeah, they're 4-1, but you even heard the Vikings guy I had on. They've won very, very close games, and their defense has given up a lot. I think the Dolphins are going to win this one. They're home. X is back. Hopefully, Teron Armstead's back. Hopefully, Austin Jackson's back. I think they'll pull this one off. I have the Dolphins winning 28-21. Like I said, I don't see it being a low-scoring game. 28-21 is not high, really, but it's not low. But I think that this game is going to be a high-scoring game. It's all going to come down to which defense steps up at the right moment to win this game. And I think it'll be the Dolphins' defense. I have faith in this defense. They did it against the Ravens. They did it against the Bills. And I'm hoping they do it against the Vikings. And the Dolphins can go into Sunday night, hopefully, with Tua coming back with a 4-2 record. And then, you got the Vikings, you got the Lions, you got the Bears, you got the Browns. If we can pull this off, and if also we can right this ship and guys start coming back, whether it's Byron, whether they trade for a corner, whether what, and all of a sudden we right the ship and we get back into that groove, and then Tua comes back and the offense gets back into that groove, and we start winning, and then all of a sudden we go into the bye week and we're looking, and we're 8-2 or 7-3. Look at that. And then because then all of a sudden that hard stretch comes. You got the Texans. But then you got to go to the West Coast for 2 games. San Fran, LA. Then you're home for Buffalo, not home, but you go to Buffalo, home for Green Bay, in New England, home for the Jets. There, if we can go into the bye 7-3, 8-2, is a very good possibility of making the playoffs. But you got to take advantage of these games. So like I said, I have the Dolphins winning this one 28-21. Mike McDaniel, this is it. This is how you show what kind of coach you are. This is the adversity you're going to hit. Can you right that ship? Skyler, play smart football. Let's get this W. I will see you guys Sunday at 1 o'clock. It's going to be awesome to be back live streaming. Well, not like usual. Stay classy. Fins up.